Hey, it's Adam for Yuletide.Snapper.com. I'm here with Kristen Schall at the launch of GLOC, the website. Kristen, you had a pretty good set. How do you feel about it?
Well, it's good. I wouldn't call it a set. I did a reading from a book, so it was pretty easy. I just read words.
Are your shoes comfortable?
Yes, they are. I'm glad I said that. I did a bit of a rant about high heels. And I do think that high heels are the modern day corset. And I think that women should stop wearing them because they hurt their feet. And it's just not important. I mean, that's the problem is if people would stop being so uptight about the way they look and more concerned about how they're going to walk from the car, into the office. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I wasn't ready for this interview.
Are you ready for the Taint Resurrection?
Oh, yeah, the Taint Resurrection is in full force.
It's right in time for Easter.
Yeah.
Which is good. So on a more serious note, what does a women's website for comedy mean for people like yourself?
Both those things I said were incredibly serious. I don't want anybody to think I was talking lightly about high heels or taints. But GLOC, it's great. It's exciting. I loved how many people were here.
Tell us about your book.
Oh, it's called The Sexy Book of Sexy Sex. And I co-wrote it with Rich Blomquist, who's a very talented scribe from The Daily Show. And it's really sexy. I mean, if you don't like sex, don't read this book. But if you do, you should buy it.
GLOC is important for women in comedy, mainly because, there's always the talk that women get overlooked and stuff. There's so much attention focused on the funny guys. It's nice to have some attention focused on the women, and just women. Girls club, a little bit. I'd like the guys to try to get in on that one.
It would be helpful if men dropped out of comedy for women, probably.
Well, they're never going to do that. Come on,
right.
Seriously.
Just a little suggestion.
Okay, realistic.
You have a new book coming out.
I do. It's not new. It's actually exhaustingly old for the fact that you can't even pre-purchase it right now.
Yeah.
But it comes out in spring 2012 on Random House imprint called Villard. And it's called Love Daddy. And it will rock your socks, I hope. I don't know. We'll see.
It's going to rock my socks. Yeah. My socks need to be rocked.
This event is great. I mean, the proof is in the amount of people who are here and how much they enjoyed what was happening. Mm-hmm. I think now is the time for something like this to be created and built, and Glynis is doing it the right way. There's such a large amount of women doing comedy right now that it's a diverse community, which couldn't exist before as much when there were a smaller number of women, because by default they were kind of being forced to represent all women. Right. So now's a really exciting time. This event is great. I mean, the proof is in the amount of people who are here and how much they enjoyed what was happening. Mm-hmm. I think now is the time for something like this to be created and built, and Glynis is doing it the right way. There's such a large amount of women doing comedy right now that it's a diverse community, which couldn't exist before as much when there were a smaller number of women, because by default they were kind of being forced to represent all women. Right. So now's a really exciting time.
Now, most importantly, you have a book out.
Most important, yes. Well, it's pretty important to me, at least, I guess. But it's called I Totally Meant to Do That, and it just came out. It's in all of, in bookstores everywhere now, and I was very fortunate to be invited tonight to read a portion from it. It's about growing up in the South and then moving to New York. So, contextually, it's a lot of culture clash, but it's a coming-of-age story, I guess, about your 20s when you run away from home. Right. And then, you kind of look back and go, home was actually pretty nice. Whoops. So.
Did you run away from home?
I did, yeah. I'm from the South. I'm from North Carolina, and I grew up in a very manicured environment. I was being groomed, I guess. It's like I was being watched by a hawk all the time, except without the eventual relief of being eaten by it.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah. So I needed to disappear for a little while, I think, and New York provided that for me.
I'm sorry that New York hasn't worked out for you so far. But Adira, tell us what this night meant to you.
Well, I think that this was a great launch party for GLOC, which is a really wonderful website that encourages, it's a great place for women to support each other that are doing comedy, but it's not, just for women. It's also for men to check out what the ladies are doing. But I think tonight was really important because you saw how many people were there, how many people really care about women in comedy. We just need to get our voice out. I don't think it's like we need to make a huge deal about it and say, make it into just being about a woman. It's about being funny.
Okay. The last time I was in a corner with 3 girls was like 10 years ago.
What were you doing?
I don't remember. Where can we catch your next show?
We do a monthly show called The Party Machine, which is at Union Hall in Brooklyn. And then we are also the house band for Night of Living, which is Kurt Browneller's show.
Now, Elliot, you're glamorous, but you're not a lady, so what brings you here tonight?
Well, I support a lot of ladies in comedy. I do comedy myself. The GLOC covered my sister and her web endeavor, Broad City, which is a very well-to-do online series. And I just love the ladies of the GLOC, and I'll be writing for them actually soon, too. Kind of like the dude writing a column on the site.
So this could be a conflict of interest. You
no,
with us?
No, I don't think so. Not because nothing's been published yet.
Okay. Well, I hope it does get published.
It will, but whatever. We'll time it accordingly.
Is an event like this dangerous for male comedians now that the women are having sort of a comedy revolution?
I mean, it did induce a period for me, so now I'm like, what do I do?
And I was with him, and it was not pretty.
No, it's great. I think it's so timely, super important, absolutely relevant, and totally necessary. And I couldn't be more proud of Glennis and Brandy and all the girls who put it together because it's important, and it is really a necessity in comedy to recognize women in a way that isn't just a pat on the back. It's more about performance and community and understanding and appreciation for everyone else's work instead of just the gender. I love it. I'm so happy for them.
Gorgeous Ladies of Comedy event means something to someone like me because it's nice to know that you're supported by your fellow comedians and other girls. And a lot of times I feel like actors and comedians and show business people can get a little catty and ugly. And this is a really great event. I felt like it celebrated women and funny women, and everybody was in such good spirits that it set a tone, I think.
You did a video called The Victoria Jackson Show. Could we talk a little bit about that, or is that off limits?
I was saddened by the Victoria Jackson thing only because I really liked her when I was a kid. And I always thought she was playing dumb, but I don't think she was. And also, it struck a chord with me because I'm from the South, and so a lot of my family and friends and people like that have similar perspectives, which, I don't necessarily agree with. But I guess the angle that I wanted to go for with the Victoria Jackson thing was that no matter what religion or your political views are, that we can all agree that she's pretty much stupid. And it's laughable. And I thought that she was fantastic as a character. And I plan on doing more.
Laughable stupidity, I think, is how one would praise it.
Yeah. So, thanks for tuning in to Yuletide Snapper, and I hope that you like Adam Yulian's videos. I'm Victoria Jackson.
Back to you in the fake studio.